Commander Vexthor's three eyes narrowed as he watched the security footage for the seventh time. On the screen, Private Sarah Chen walked across the training grounds of Outpost Kepler 442b, and behind her, keeping perfect pace, was a Void Stalker. "This is impossible," muttered Lieutenant Karith, his mandibles clicking nervously. "Those creatures have killed 47 soldiers in the past 3 months. They're apex predators. They don't follow." But follow it did. The massive creature, all midnight black scales and razor-sharp claws, moved with the fluid grace of death itself. Its 6 legs carried its bulk silently, and its elongated head swiveled occasionally to scan the perimeter. It looked, for all intents and purposes, like a guard dog protecting its master. Sarah Chen was oblivious. She had her earbuds in, humming some ancient earth tune as she made her way to the mess hall. The Void Stalker's tail, tipped with a bone spike capable of piercing combat armor, swished gently behind her like an oversized metronome. "Should we sound the alarm?" Karith asked. Vexthor held up a hand. "Wait, just wait." They had tried everything to eliminate the Void Stalkers since establishing the outpost 6 months ago. Plasma weapons barely scratched their hides. Explosive traps were avoided with uncanny intelligence. 3 specialized kill teams had been sent out. None returned. The creatures were evolution's masterpiece of murder, perfectly adapted to Kepler 442b's harsh environment. And yet, here was one following a fresh-faced human recruit like she was its beloved owner. Sarah stopped at a bench, sat down, and pulled out her lunch. The Void Stalker settled on its haunches beside her, its massive head nearly level with hers. She still didn't notice. She was scrolling through her data pad, taking bites of her sandwich. Then she did something that made Vexthor's blood run cold. She offered the creature a piece of her sandwich. "By the 7 rings, Karith whispered. The Void Stalker, this perfect killing machine that had eviscerated trained soldiers in seconds, delicately took the offered food with teeth that could snap Durasteel. It chewed thoughtfully, then made a sound that the monitoring equipment struggled to process. It sounded almost like purring. Sarah laughed and scratched behind what might have been the creature's ear. Its tail wagged. "Get Private Chen to my office," Vexthor said quietly. "Now, and don't startle that thing." 20 minutes later, Sarah stood at attention in the commander's office, looking confused. Through the window, they could see the Void Stalker sitting patiently outside, occasionally pawing at the door. "Private Chen," Vexthor began, trying to keep his voice steady, "are you aware that you've been accompanied by a Void Stalker for the past 3 days?" Sarah blinked. "Sir? Do you mean Shadow?" "Shadow? Yeah, he started following me after I found him caught in some razor wire near Sector 7. Poor guy was all tangled up. Took me 2 hours to get him free." She smiled fondly. "He's been following me around ever since. Thought he was someone's pet project or something." Karith made a strangled sound. "Private, that guy is the most lethal predator on this planet. It's killed dozens of our people." Sarah's eyes widened. "Shadow, no way. He's a sweetheart." She paused. "Well, I mean, he did scare off those weird rat things that tried to get into my quarters. And there was that snake thing that got a bit too close during my perimeter check. But he's never been aggressive to me." Vexthor pulled up the footage of the incidents Sarah mentioned. In both cases, the Void Stalker had eliminated threats with brutal efficiency, then returned to Sarah's side, looking for affection, which she gave freely, apparently having no concept of what she was petting. "How?" Karith asked, more to himself than anyone. "How is this possible?" Sarah shrugged. "I don't know. My grandma always said I had a way with animals. Had a pet raccoon, 3 possums, and a fox growing up. Even made friends with a black bear once." She said this as if it was the most normal thing in the universe. Vexthor sat back in his chair, his tactical mind already working. "Private Chen, how would you feel about expanding your duties?" "Sir, we have a problem with Void Stalkers. Or rather, we had a problem. You seem to have solved it, at least partially." He pulled up a map of the outpost's perimeter. "If you could befriend more of these creatures, train them, perhaps we could transform our greatest threat into our greatest asset." Sarah's face lit up. "You want me to make friends with more of them? That sounds amazing. Shadow's probably lonely anyway. Do you think they pack bond?" "Oh, I should research their social structures. Do we have xenobiological data on them?" Karith pulled up files, mostly autopsy reports and attack footage. "That won't do," Sarah said, already planning. I'll need observation time, maybe some treats. Do we know what they like to eat besides you know us? Over the following weeks, the impossible became routine. Sarah Chen, armed with nothing but patience, snacks, and an apparently supernatural ability to befriend apex predators, began what the other soldiers called the domestication project. She started with Shadow, teaching him basic commands: sit, stay, don't eviscerate. The Voidstalker learned with disturbing speed, his intelligence clearly underestimated by previous research based on autopsy reports and combat footage. Then came the others. Sarah would venture out with Shadow, finding lone Voidstalkers in their territory. Her approach was always the same: respectful distance, calm demeanor, and an offering of food. Shadow's presence helped, his body language communicating something the aliens couldn't understand but other Voidstalkers could. Within 2 months, Outpost Kepler 442b had 7 Voidstalkers integrated into its security detail. Attacks on personnel dropped to 0. The creatures patrolled the perimeter with military precision, their hunting instincts now directed at protecting rather than attacking. Vexthor stood on the observation deck, watching Sarah play fetch with Shadow using a plasma grenade casing. The creature bounded after it with terrifying speed, then returned it gently to her hand, tail wagging like an oversized, murderous puppy. The Galactic Council is never going to believe this, Karith said beside him. No, Vexthor agreed. But perhaps that's what makes humans so valuable. They don't know what's impossible, so they simply do it anyway. Below, Sarah laughed as Shadow rolled over for belly rubs, his 6 legs flailing in the air. Around them, other soldiers were slowly warming up to the creatures, though none had quite Sarah's fearless affection. She was just a recruit, Karith marveled. She was just a human, Vexthor corrected. And apparently that's all it takes to turn a planet's apex predator into humanity's best friend. Shadow's contented rumbling echoed across the compound, a sound that would have been terrifying weeks ago but now felt oddly comforting. In the distance, the wild Voidstalkers howled and Shadow's head perked up. But he didn't answer. He was home now with his human where he belonged.